Today's episode of Inside Gaming Daily is brought to you by ZipRecruiter. You can try it for free at ziprecruiter.com/rooster.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Inside Gaming Daily for Tuesday!
It's Tuesday. We don't have anything for Tuesday.
We should have something for Tuesday. Hey!
Sexual Harassment Tuesday!
Ouch! It looks like Riot Games is facing a major backlash from its own employees.
A riot, if you will?
More of like a quiet riot.
Come on, feel the noise!
I'm so glad he's doing
Keep
that.
it down, there's kids watching. It turns out it's not just an edgy name for your company. According to a report from Waypoint posted yesterday, a group of Riot employees are organizing a good old walkout to protest the company's recent actions.
That's right, Adam, they are about to feel the noise. Girls are about to rock their boys. Turns out this revolt is not about the Sonic trailer.
He lives in Green Hill,
Yeah.
not Zone, just Green Hill, right guys?
That is correct.
Okay, that means you watched it more than once.
Our crack news team is on the job. Bit of a side note here, we should be talking about that trailer today, but I made the decision to not report on that before I watched the trailer because it was 8 a.m. and looking at monstrous Sonic first thing in the morning was the last thing I wanted to do.
Okay, we want you to learn something important in this industry. Anyway, the pending revolt at Riot stems from another story Kotaku reported on last year, revealing a toxic environment at the League of Legends developer.
Yeah, sum it up for us, Brian. What was going on there?
Basically, there were just a lot of allegations of sexism and other bad behavior by management. Just sort of a animal house culture, and a lot of people spoke off the record to Kotaku, but then when the story broke, a lot of people started posting their own blogs of their own experience, and it just blew up.
In the aftermath, some current and former employees actually sued Riot over an alleged sexist workplace culture.
But Riot fought back. The company
Against those poor abused women.
So last week, the company filed a motion to force two of the women suing the company into private arbitration.
Riot's lawyers argued that the women waived their rights to sue when they were hired, which sounds ridiculous, but welcome to God's country. Here in America, corporations have way more rights than individuals most of the time, except when it comes to buying guns, I guess.
It is fun, though, to imagine a McDonald's with handguns stuck all out of the walls. I don't know what we're talking
Just
about.
like right in the burger?
Sure.
That's nice. So it's not hard to imagine why Riot would prefer to force its employees into private arbitration rather than getting sued outright. Keeps everything behind closed doors and prevents messy, embarrassing details from going public.
A little too late for that. But Riot also operates one of the biggest games in the world, and they can presumably afford some really good lawyers.
Yeah, but lawyers can't solve everything, right, Brian?
No, this move by Riot really was the straw that broke the camel's back for a lot of people who still work there, and now some of them are going to take action. There is a walkout being planned for this Monday to protest the whole forcing people into private arbitration.
Definitely a sign that the wounds over this whole issue have not healed completely at Riot, and employees say that management has handled this whole situation terribly.
And like we said, this whole saga came to light last year when Kotaku interviewed more than 24 current and former employees of the developer who described a workplace with many instances of sexist behavior and gender discrimination.
After that story published, more former employees of the company started to speak out about their own experiences, kind of like Brian said. Former Riot Director of Product Management Barry Hawkins wrote about why he left the company in 2014, saying, quote, "The frequency and intensity of inappropriate behavior in the workplace had become a concern not long after I had arrived."
He added then that there were two predominant flavors of behavior. One was the use of sexual references and gestures by straight men towards other straight men, and the other was the sexist and inappropriate language about women.
So hold on a minute.
Okay.
We here at the Funhouse/Inside Gaming offices would like to say that that is deplorable, and no professional would ever behave that way
Go ahead, you gotta commit, Adam.
in any capacity. For any reason. My birth certificate name is Date Rape Sontag. We stand on the highest of horses, looking down at you, thumbing the nose. You guys ever jack off in a tub? And like you see it squirt out in the water? I call it inking. Another former Riot employee, Megan Marie, said that she left after 6 months with the company. She wrote about her experience saying, quote, "I didn't go out with colleagues after events because strip clubs seemed to be a common destination. Asking me what age I lost my virginity at was deemed appropriate conversation during a team dinner. And employees I didn't know prodded into how my sex life worked in a long distance relationship."
So a few weeks after the Kotaku story broke, Riot issued an apology and said it would clean up its culture. Did it work, Brian?
Well, at the time, they seemed very apologetic. They wrote, "We're sorry that Riot hasn't always been or wasn't the place we promised you. And we're sorry it took so long for us to hear you. In the days, weeks, months, years to come, we're going to make Riot a place we can all be proud of." But in the aftermath of all that, employees said that some things have not gotten better and that some of the offenders are still working at Riot.
Still have these damn kind bars in the kitchen.
Yeah,
I wanted Kashi.
That actually includes the company's COO, Scott Gelb, who was suspended after reports that he, quote, repeatedly touched subordinates' balls or butt or farted in their faces. That's a legal document, huh?
After the suspension, he returned to work, which upset a lot of employees. There was no visible punishment, basically.
Right, but it was Riot's recent move to force some employees into arbitration that sparked the plan for the upcoming walkout.
Well, when it's happened in the past, and then you see movements that it's going to get covered up if it happens again in the future, kind of makes sense. So it's not clear how many employees might participate. One employee told Waypoint, quote, "Talk of a walkout has been brewing among a number of folks with varying levels of investment since Kotaku's first article hit. And leadership consistently promised transparency and actions to be taken and then did not deliver on that promise."
And then management did notice. Riot's chief diversity officer, Angela Roseborough, sent a Slack message to employees saying, quote, "We're also aware there may be an upcoming walkout and recognize some rioters are not feeling heard." She went on to invite Riot employees to join us for small group sessions where we can talk through your concerns and provide as much context as we can about where we've landed and why.
Small group sessions, I guess that's preferable to having all of your employees yell at you at once. Also kind of helps you divide and conquer a little bit. They were like, "Hey, if you were gonna walk out, we'd love to talk to you. Just put your name down on this Google spreadsheet and we'll arrange some meetings. Just go ahead and sign your name, it's fine." What the hell? This is how you isolate the people who are causing problems and cover them up.
Yeah, Riot doesn't seem too happy about this, right, Brian?
Yeah, they said in a statement to the media, "We're proud of our colleagues for standing up for what they believe in. We always want rioters to have the opportunity to be heard, so we're sitting down today to listen to their opinions and learn more about their perspectives on arbitration." I assume they also had to put their social security numbers and date of hires on that spreadsheet.
Yeah, we would love for you to sign this paperwork.
What's your significant other scared of? Just curious.
Yeah.
Spiders, maybe?
To be clear though, Riot is hardly the only employer to put a binding arbitration clause in a contract. They're pretty standard now, so here's a copy of EA's, and we do not even work at EA.
Yeah, you gotta sign it just to play their games. Isn't that
Yeah,
fun?
that's fun,
At
yeah.
least, wait, we don't think we work for EA.
We might, hold on.
How much DLC we put in this episode? Half cup?
The situation can sound bleak for the common working schmo like us, but we're also seeing employees fight back over the issue.
Earlier this year, Google's employees planned to walk out over forced arbitration, and they won. In February, Google said it would no longer force employees to settle disputes with the company in private arbitration.
But it looks like the federal courts might ultimately be on Riot's side. The Supreme Court recently sided with a business in a dispute over arbitration. In a 5-4 decision, the court agreed with the retailer, which had argued that the arbitration must be conducted on an individual basis instead of collectively.
5-4, that's so close. It's almost like one judge actually makes a huge difference when it comes to deciding policy for America.
Curse you, Justice League. Wait.
There's not enough beer in DC. That's a different case than the Riot one, obviously, but it's a sign that the highest court in the US tends to side with businesses when it comes to issues of arbitration.
The larger issue here is a decades-long effort to restrict people's ability to sue businesses, which can also be classified as people.
Brian, you're our legal historian here. Where does this issue come from?
So back in the day, this used to be called tort reform, and it started back in the 70s by insurance companies and large corporations to limit litigation and to reduce any damages that might be awarded to plaintiffs. And their argument at the time was that so-called frivolous lawsuits cost companies billions of dollars and made them less competitive globally.
There was even a famous case involving a woman in New Mexico who spilled hot coffee on herself and was very badly injured. She sued McDonald's over it, but her case became a national punchline and a rallying cry for tort reformers.
She got up.
Yeah,
And yet everyone was like, "Look at this stupid old broad, just doing it because she got a little hot coffee on her lap."
the media made fun of her, and you should actually look into the story because she got more than anyone else, and she was legitimately hurt and just wanted her medical bills paid. But we need jokes for late night. So.
5-4, everybody. Wink. The point here is that these current and former Riot employees don't have a lot of legal avenues these days to take their employer to full and honest court.
Any damages they receive could be capped, or like we're seeing in this case, Riot can just force them into private arbitration.
So that leads them to the only avenue that workers have left: collective action, like a walkout or a strike, something like that.
Yeah, I worked with Google. We'll see if Riot backs down or not. It kind of is something that Microsoft was doing, just mostly through emails, and we're not happy about making technology for the government, but who knows how that went.
That's a bit of a whoopsie daisy. That's when you leak to a blog, and then it works its way up to us, where we talk about this instead of the Sonic trailer, which would have been much more fun.
I honestly was spacing out on half the story because all I can think about is Sonic and how blue he is and how fast he might go.
Did they have to animate his foreskin wobbling like that when he was at full sprint?
He's from a different dimension, and that's why he has foreskin, right, Brian?
Absolutely.
How the kids?
Has all this talk about business and corporate interests got you interested in starting your own company? Well, if it has, you gotta hire people to work at that company, and to find the right people, you need ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter is a tool that sends your job opening to over 100 of the web's leading job boards to help you find the employees you need. And when it comes to their powerful matching technology, ZipRecruiter scans thousands of resumes to find people with the right experience and invites them to apply to your job. ZipRecruiter can help you find the right people and do it quickly because you got to get your idea off the ground. I was just saying the future will be paved by AI. Probably AI that has to do with porn. So if you're in the middle of writing some AI scripts that make awesome porn, you're gonna need people to run that company. ZipRecruiter can help you find it. ZipRecruiter is so effective that 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. And you're not gonna run that porn AI without quality candidates, I assure you. So hire people the inside gaming way. I told you that was gonna be a thing and now it's a thing. Right now, you guys can try ZipRecruiter for free at ziprecruiter.com/rooster. Once more, that's ziprecruiter.com/rooster, ROOSTER. So again, hire people the inside gaming way, run your porn AI company like the best and most professional corporations out there. Go to ZipRecruiter, find the right people today. Thank you, ZipRecruiter, for the sponsorship. Than that, apparently the publisher is paying its employees $1 a day to use an app that tracks their pregnancies. Now we have weird images of Activision rubbing their hands together saying, yes, tell me more about your contractions. Your ankles, they must be so plump right now. Anyway, Brian, what the hell's going on right now? Please make this less weird. I just spit on myself.